Okay, many thanks again for staying with us on the show this morning on ITV. Lovely Monday morning. Okay, I told you at the beginning that we will continue conversations on some of the latest developments as it relates to the coronavirus pandemic, with recent development in recent times in certain countries, in specific countries, including our dear country, Nigeria. But most topical of all these discussions is the rollout of vaccines. I'm sure that the last time we had a conversation on this, the rollout of the vaccines has not really has not really gone on full swing, but it has in several countries. I mean, we just read this morning, Bauchi State Governor has gotten a second jab of the AstraZeneca. Interestingly, that vaccine has been suspended in India, and India is facing the worst crisis today. The same for Seychelles, which is also an Indian Ocean island, facing the worst crisis today. That's just some of the stories that are coming forth. But one question that has been asked repeatedly is the active ingredients in the vaccine. One of them is has already come to the fore, and we're going to be talking along those lines. But let me thank very especially my resource person here, Professor Cyril Otechia. Professor Cyril Otechia is a geneticist and has been here on several occasions to give us other side of the conversations on COVID-19. And today, don't expect anything less from Prof as we look at this. Prof, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now, we are in another phase of the COVID-19. Interestingly, the phase that we're in now, were talked about several months ago or weeks ago, all right? And then we were also told about a variant of COVID-19 that was to come, and now is also finally here, because you can talk about the South African variant, talk about UK variant, and all of that. What do you make of where we are right now with the COVID-19 as a pandemic? Before we talk about the vaccine issue, what do you make of it? Because now some countries are going on lockdown. Some countries have relaxed lockdown. I mean, in the English Premiership, you can see fans are coming to the stadium now to watch matches that wasn't there before. Yeah. Just give us an overview of all of this.
Yes, like you have observed on that championship, you see a lot of fans coming in. Everybody is getting a bit relaxed. And of recent, I think 2 days back or so, CDC has also given a fiat to Americans. He say, once you have taken the vaccine, stop using nose masks. You see it? Yeah. So you discover that when you look back to where we started from, I told you that it is all arranged. So they follow it step after step because it's a marketing procedure. I have not changed my works from it. It's a marketing procedure. So when the vaccine finally came, I remember I mentioned it. I said, now we are going to experience the virus. We're going to experience it because what we are expecting and what they were preaching about is now here, because the vaccines have landed. And remember, in our last program here too, I also questioned the chairman of the Edo State.
That's the incident manager.
Yes, I said, what is vaccine and what is virus? And as a medical doctor, he accepted that vaccines are virus, because the active ingredient in vaccine is a virus. So it's still the same thing. Nothing has changed. Nothing.
Okay.
And if you see the reaction from India and the Asia world, is expected.
Why is that expected?
I as a geneticist, I expected it.
Okay.
Because one, if you look at the distribution of vaccines from the production point, 2 continents has more based on population, which is Africa and Asia. with heavy weight of population. Is now the secret behind selecting those two continents scientifically is straight, in the sense that there are more population. When you reduce the population, the effect is slightly felt than when you go to continents where population is low and you reduce population, the effect is obvious. You see it. So it doesn't give me anything to bother about, because I understood it from the beginning and I knew where we are going to end up. So if America can go free now after taking the vaccine, you are free not to use the nose masks, then the question will now be, why are we in Africa still now insisting that even when you have taken the vaccine, it does not give you complete protection? There are questions, none of them are even answering us. They are not, because they don't have answers to it. So that's it, and that's why you are seeing this response.
In America, when you've taken the vaccine,
yes,
you don't need to wear a face mask.
No, you don't need to wear a face mask any longer.
In Africa and in Nigeria, for example,
you take the vaccine, you wear the face mask. There may be some other things.
But don't you think that that may also be as a result of additional information that has come to the fore? Because there's a video that trended immediately the rollout of the vaccine started,
yes,
where is this kind of question and answer kind of thing,
okay,
where, okay, if you're taking the vaccine,
yeah,
can you still go to a public place? Can you still wear your face mask if you're in your home, in your house? You know, all those questions came out, and all of those questions were in negative, which gave the impression that the vaccine, when taken, still cannot guarantee your safety, as it were. So you still need to adhere to the safety protocols of washing your hands regularly and using face masks when you're in public place, and all of those things. Couldn't it have been that, okay, now CDC is telling Americans to not to use face masks? It's because they've been able to analyze research results and all of that to confirm that, okay, well, once you've taken the vaccine, you shouldn't wear face mask. There's no risk attached.
Sonny Duke, that is far from truth. It's far. They didn't do any research. We are getting close to the end of the game. You know, I told you from the beginning, from day one, that it's going to come in stages. And the last stage will come, and I will signal that we are getting close to the end of the marketing. That's it. They didn't do any research, nothing. What they have just done is to signal them that it is time we are releasing you people, we are getting free. So humans are getting that liberation, that freedom is coming back. That's exactly what they are talking about. Exactly what they are talking about. So you are free to do. See, let me tell you, I have questioned severally and severally. Does nose mask stop a virus from entering the nose? Nose mask, the perforation in nose mask, is not me that published it. Check Google. There are a lot of publications on it. The smallest perforation on nose mask or anything that is textile or whatever is 6 times the size of a virus. And I mentioned it here that the virus can even somersault through. So
which means it's large enough.
It's large enough. It's more than large. So the biggest size of a virus can somersault through the nose mask, and it's there. So if they are saying stop using nose masks if you have taken the vaccine, it's normal. I am a geneticist. I know all the plays. I know all the plans. I know all the stages that will come. So is that thing came, I wanted it to get to this end before I will look at the other side of nose masks. See, when you give people harsh conditions, you force human to bend. That was exactly what that was to achieve. Inconveniences. So that when they create that inconveniences, then it jars the people to accept whatever is coming. Instead of us to now be caged up or to do this or that, we have been asked to come out. We cannot come out of our homes, but you must wear nose mask. Let all of us wear nose masks. And everybody is wearing it. Look, I was traveling the other day to Abuja, and I saw an NYC a youth copper with blisters everywhere. And
blisters
I said,
on the
yes.
side.
And I said, oh, sorry. Do you know why you had this? He said, yes, because of the nose mask he used regularly. I said, yes, because the material you have used does not allow airflow much. And that's why you are having blisters. Okay? So you are running away from one,
you're creating
and another one is coming in. See, there was no virus anywhere until vaccine came. Vaccine carries virus. And vaccines are the virus.
But
so as you are pumping it in, then you see the reaction of
now, I'm going to get to that. But if you say there were no virus anywhere, but we saw the numbers rising from the daily infection rate from US and several other countries of the world. So if you say there was no virus anywhere,
but
where were they getting those results
from?
I
talked about those values now. I think I mentioned it on 2 or 3 occasions that those values are fictitious values. They are just programming it to get people worked up, to get people scared.
How do you substantiate that?
Let's look at something.
Yes, how do you substantiate that?
The last program we were looking at Edo State's condition because it was improving, because the numbers were gradually going down.
Yes.
Today, only 2 states, and which has been most of the best record we have gotten.
Okay.
Isn't it? Okay. And I asked that man here, I said, one, or it was even you that raised this, was it because of the vaccine that the number dropped? And he said, no. So if the number drops without vaccine, then now vaccine has come and people are giving liberation. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't. It doesn't. Was there any vaccine there? Was there any virus there? We were only told of things to come. That is how I looked at it. From the perspective I was looking at it, they were giving me guidelines of what to come. And I x-rayed it here that when it comes, we will know. So watch out. People are taking vaccines.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of reactions. And people are doing a lot of research. It's not those days where people are scared and you tap them and everybody runs the same way. No. You remember what happened in Lagos? They said there was a bomb blast and everybody was diving into the moat and they were dying. But somebody stood and said, why don't you even look back and see
what's happening?
What happened there?
Yeah.
And when they now went back, they discovered it was nothing that will even allow people or we jailed people to dive into a moat.
Yeah.
That is exactly what scare factor is when virus trading comes handy. It doesn't come every time. It comes seasonally. We are in another season of virus marketing. And all the scare factors must come to play so that at the end of the day, what is coming will be accepted. People are taking vaccines. People are reacting to the vaccines. You see, there was a simple experiment somebody did. And when I looked at it, I said, wow, I think people are becoming more aware. You took a magnet, and somebody took a magnet and hanged it at the point of that stab.
Yeah.
And the thing stayed. That gives me the clue that what is in there must be a metal. Does magnet hold wood?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Does it hold textile?
No.
No. What does magnet attract? Mental. I think 4 or 5 days after declaration of COVID-19 pandemic, I mentioned it that what they have given me, or the idea they have given me, is that what is coming is heavy mental.
Okay, I'm getting to that point, Prof. I know that's the mistrust, but I just want to look at these preambles. India has a vaccine they're manufacturing, or let's put it this way. One of the vaccine is being manufactured in India.
Yeah.
Whether the manufacturers are all Indians or you have other people who are doing it in India, we don't know. But the fact remains that AstraZeneca came from India, right? Now, in India, we have seen the worst deaths so far, daily deaths. I mean, it got so bad that the people have to start throwing their idols away. That the idol, they expected him to perform at this most critical time, but the idol failed to perform, and for that reason, is useless and of no use to them. We saw truckloads being dumped into. They say, what is playing out? What do you think is playing out in India? They have a vaccine, which they're supposed to have deployed, even though there have been some kind of reactions, globally towards that vaccine. I want to know if they've stopped selling to other countries now. So what is playing out in India? And then there's also the Indian island ocean of Seychelles. just about 100,000 people. The numbers have started rising in that country. In fact, Seychelles has the highest vaccination rate globally, ahead of Israel, ahead of UK and the rest of them. I'd like you to look at these two scenarios.
Yes, it's clear and it's very simple. If you look at India and the vaccine they produced, when you accept truth over falsehood, you see the light clearly. So they are beginning to see the light, that there are certain things that are above human comprehension and human orders. When I say order, control. So COVID-19 came to allow human beings to ascend a bit higher to the level we are before, in thinking of that what man has produced can protect you. So those idols were made by man. You agree with me? Yeah. Because if you look at them, some of them even have dress. They wear them dress. Some of them have weaved hair, which shows human impact. So those idols are human, because they are from human. They created them from human thinking. But because of COVID-19, they have discovered that those idols cannot protect them. Yeah. So they decided, let's clear them off. They could even be source of this problem we're
having right now.
So they cleared it off.
They are to live up to expectations.
They cleared it off.
Yes.
As they are clearing it off, there is something I'm perceiving. They are getting closer to God, talking to God, interacting with God directly, and God giving the direction. They produce a vaccine. They have declared the vaccine unfit. What does it imply to any scientist? That means that research is false. That research started from results before even the objectives and the hypothesis. When you are carrying out a research and you have an answer already, that's not a research. I've asked people, what research did you people do before coming out to bamboozle people with all these claims over COVID-19? So they have abandoned what they produce as vaccine. And if you now watch, when they stopped taking that vaccine, the death rate will react to it. When you pump in what the body does not accept, the body must react to it. I have said this severally. And somebody now said, okay, yes, we agree that vaccines are virus, but the dosage matters. I said, yes. Maybe that is why they are recommending different jabs. And what does a jab mean? Is it not punch? So when you take the first punch, it shakes you small. You have high temperature. Then you lose weight a little bit. Then when you take the second one, it becomes Muhammad Ali style. Then when that one comes, boom, and the person is off. That's death. And death comes. You know what? I have asked those who have done that research of pasting a magnet. Open up one of those persons carrying that thing. Open up that point of infusion of that vaccine. Bring out whatever is there, because the body will not accept it. So there will be encasement, because the cells will react to it and send soldiers. That thing is poisonous. Case it up. So it will case it up. So it's there. And that is why the magnet is able to
attract it
because it's closed.
Okay.
So let them open up just one person. Open it up, extract what is there, and find out what you get inside. Then you will see heavy metal.
That brings me to this heavy metal. You mentioned it several times today. And I recall that some time ago when we started this conversation, we actually went online to look at the symptoms of heavy metal poisoning, as it were. Yeah. And there seems to be some level of correlation, as it were. Yeah. Okay, are you saying now that with recent development, there are convictions in the direction that what you have as COVID-19 is heavy metal, and what you have as vaccine also contains heavy metal?
Oh, yes. Very clear.
How do you substantiate that?
How do I substantiate that? You know that there is weekly, or is even 3 days briefing from WHO.
World Health Organization.
World Health Organization. The last one they presented, I cut them in. You cannot continue to be smart. So there is a time you will lose guide and people will get you in. I was waiting for them to start. I had already logged into the website. I was waiting for them to just kickstart. And they started. And the discussion continued, and I questioned what, because on that day, they were particular about a new vaccine that had just been approved, which is Sinovac vaccine. And I asked, I said, what is the active ingredient? That was the question I asked. And I was persistent about it. I was continuously posting it. And people were now liking the questions. And God so good, the moderator picked the question. And if you put that thing on screen for people to see it, number one, from the Facebook page, you will see my name has changed. Because there has been severally blockage and all that, and people cannot even access me on Facebook and all that. So I had to coin a name. So first of all, they didn't even know at all. Maybe they cannot correlate that name with me. So they picked the question, because I've been asking that question severally.
Yeah.
They were not picking it. But that day they picked it, and I know it was God that appointed date for them to pick the question. So they picked it, and the first woman that reacted cleverly dodged it. And the second panelist now said, let me help her. I was just seated in my sitting room. I was watching on my phone. He said, let me help her. And he mentioned something, that the active ingredient in Sinovac vaccine is aluminium hydroxide. Aluminium is a heavy metal.
Yeah.
For crying out loud. Ask any scientist. And if you check the effect of aluminium on human body, check it on the same internet that they control, you will see the effects, and you will see up to 75% symptoms of COVID-19. So which means one vaccine has proved me right that what is coming is heavy metal. So if WHO representative can say a vaccine that had just been approved by World Health Organization contains an active ingredient, aluminium hydroxide, Sonny Duke, we are getting close to the end.
Okay.
So when he mentioned it, I celebrated. And I called my wife. I said, we have gotten to the next stage.
Okay.
So we now have Sinovac vaccine carrying an active ingredient, aluminium hydroxide.
Okay, let me pause you there. I'll come back to you and I'll take you up on this last statement that you made, that Sinovac vaccine contains aluminium hydroxide, which, of course, they are basically referred to as adjuvant. If you're very familiar with vaccine manufacture and production, we'll show you that in a moment, which means also that they've been in use in the production of vaccines for a long, long time. All right, so which means it's really not new in a sense. But just to buttress what he said about the interaction with the World Health Organization question and answer program on Facebook as it relates to COVID-19, we'll just go to show you a bit of the conversation that took place so you can see that this is not just a conjured, we didn't just conjure this conversation, it actually took place, and then it will help you make sense of the conversation. Let's take a look at this. We'll be back with you in a moment.
Is the Barat vaccine. Yeah. And it is also an inactivated vaccine. I don't know how similar they are in the process, but it would be the same type of vaccine as Kate has described, of a whole virus that is grown in the lab and then inactivated through a different, could be the same or a different process, and then enhanced in its performance by an adjuvant, which in the case of the Sinopharm is aluminum hydroxide. I do not know exactly the composition of Covaxin, but I do know that it's another inactivated vaccine, and we will soon be reviewing the data for this other vaccine in the SAGE working group that looks at this COVID-19 product.
Okay, there's something we probably would have advised that you pay close attention to the transcription of that conversation where the WHO panelist actually mentioned aluminium hydroxide as the aluminium hydroxide or arsenium as the possible ingredient in the Sinovac vaccine, which he talked about just now, just been approved by the World Health Organization. Arsenium is also and heavy metal.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Prof, you are aware that aluminium hydroxide or salts of aluminium, byproducts of aluminium, have been used for decades as adjuvant in vaccine manufacture. And the reason being that it helps the body to strengthen its immune system. So what is wrong with that? This is a substance that has been used for so many years in vaccine manufacture. As a matter of fact, we have this here now. We just look at it. It says aluminium containing adjuvants. Okay, but let me show to you what adjuvants, what they are by way of definition. It says an adjuvant is an ingredient used in some vaccines that helps create a stronger immune response in people receiving the vaccine. In other words, adjuvants help vaccines work better. Some vaccines that are made from weakened or killed germs contain naturally occurring adjuvants and help the body produce a strong protective immune response. However, most vaccines developed today include just small components of germs, such as their proteins, rather than the entire virus or bacteria. Adjuvants help the body to produce an immune response strong enough to protect the person from the disease he or she is being vaccinated against. Adjuvanted vaccines can cause more local reactions such as redness, swelling, and pain at the injection site, and more systemic reactions such as fever, chills, and body aches than non-adjuvanted vaccines. And then let me just take down a little bit. It also went ahead to say that aluminium salts such as aluminium hydroxide, which you mentioned a while ago, aluminium phosphate, and aluminium potassium sulfate have been used safely in vaccines for more than 70 years. I need you to pay close attention to that. Aluminium salts were initially used in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s with diphtheria and tetanus vaccines. After it was found, they strengthened the body's immune response to these vaccines. Newer adjuvants have been developed to target specific components of the body's immune response so that protection against disease is stronger and lasts longer. In all cases, vaccines containing adjuvants are tested for safety and effectiveness in clinical trials before they are licensed for use in the United States, and they are commonly monitored by CDC and FDA once they are approved. So what is new or special about this information that you have that Sinovac contains aluminium hydroxide? When is there on record for over 70 years this has been in use?
That last paragraph signals something.
Okay.
The last paragraph you just read.
That I read.
On procedures for giving out vaccines, that you must test them.
Yes.
Good. Vaccines, remember, I mentioned it from day one, they are produced for specific purposes, to achieve specific purposes. Okay? Okay. There's something people have not come to realize, but I think people are beginning to get it right, that for this purpose of using whatever vaccines that be outlined, gears towards population reduction. But people have seemed to look at it as a light or a slight statement, maybe just accusation. But no, it's geared towards population reduction. Before the advent of COVID-19 pandemic, there was signal that the world is becoming overpopulated. And let me tell you that all vaccines that have been produced are linked to one company, and which is Bill Gates Foundation. Good. We have followed, I have seriously followed the history of vaccines, companies producing vaccines, usage of vaccines. If you say aluminium, yes, that is why it is called an active ingredient. Then there is weightage that goes in. Remember we asked, and I have continued to ask, what is COVID-19 virus? You mentioned germs, that vaccines are produced for specific action to tackle certain germs. Let's come to COVID-19. COVID-19, what is it? Is it a germ? Is it a bacteria? But we are told it's a virus, and that it was a living thing. And I challenged it, and they went back to their record, and they had to rescind that statement that viruses are non-living things.
Okay.
That had been settled for long. So we gotten that is non-living thing. So if it is a non-living thing, which implies that COVID-19 virus is a non-living thing, what is the chemical composition of COVID-19? You remember I told you as at then that nothing was anywhere. Nothing. There was nothing like virus anywhere. Because even the aluminium you are talking about is classified as a virus. Mercury is a virus. Because when it enters the body, it tackles living cells. It kills living cells. So if you look at that aluminium, find out the effect of aluminium on the same human body. It is used as an adjuvant. Yes, I agree. And that is why even doctors have said that even if you take paracetamol can cause side effects that can even lead to death. Yeah. Whatever. Any person can come out with any submission. Yeah. We follow up, fine. The question now is, I am not the person that identified aluminum hydroxide as part of Sinovac vaccine. It was the person who is representing those who market it and who produce that said it, and you have put it on the screen and they have seen the face. The man is still alive. Good. The question I want to ask him is, what level, what quantity of aluminum hydroxide is inside Sinovac vaccine that you jab in, which now implies what is the weight of the punch, the jab that you give. Remember that what is sweet also kills, what sweet goat to eat also kills the same goat. So if you infuse, there is level of aluminum hydroxide you infuse into the system, you pack up the system. If you look at the effect of aluminum hydroxide on the body, you can key it into Google and let people see it. Because I remember the first day when we were arguing about symptoms of COVID-19 and effect of heavy metals on the body, we placed them side by side, and people were calling that it was 100% in agreement. Okay. So if you put the side effect, there are mild effects, there are even stronger side effects, depending on the dosage. If you put the side effect side by side with symptoms of COVID-19, check it and you see almost 75% correlation. And while on that program, the man went further to explain that there is discussion ongoing whether one person can take doses of the different vaccines.
Different
so which
vaccines,
signal,
whether it's AstraZeneca,
yes, whether
Sinovac,
yes, which signaled me as a genetist that there are different components, which means there are different classes of heavy metals in the different vaccines that are being administered to humans. If I ask you, and I know that you will agree with me, when that vaccine got to Nigeria and back to my country, what analysis did they do? What trial did they do? I am talking of NAFDAC and all the organizations.
They came out to say they were safe. Yeah,
they just came out, and I asked, what was the procedure? What analysis did you do? What trials did you do before you now come out to say it is safe? And people started taking it, and people started reacting of different symptoms that are negative. Even at a time, they had to even classify heart failure as mild effect. I said any person can say anything. Maybe because the person did not die. So what is the trial? Because that last paragraph you read supersedes any other thing they were talking about. Because you must try to see whether it is going positive or negative. When it is going negative, you must stop. And that is why countries like Asia, continents like Asia, countries in Asia are withdrawing from even the ones they produce. They are back to the lab. What I think they want to do now is they will now want to reduce maybe the dosage of those active ingredients, or they will want to now try another active ingredient, because heavy metals there are different classes of heavy metals. Yeah. And if, like I've told you now, I think there is need for everybody to be researching every day. Take Sinovac vaccine that we have been told the adjuvant inside. Active means the active ingredient. What carries out the function that component is made to achieve.
Okay.
Do you understand? That vaccine is made to achieve.
Prof, I wanted to ask you a question, and this is a question. If COVID-19 were to be a living organism, okay, would it have been possible to have the vaccine made, the vaccine containing maybe a hydroxide of aluminium as we have now?
Oh yes, because if you now discovered, we are talking out of science.
Yes.
We are just talking of basics. If you now discover that what is affecting people is an organism, do you understand? That organism, you take it and you try different adjuvants on that organism to see the reaction of the organism.
Okay.
Whether is the adjuvant will kill the germs or the organism, or it will make it redundant.
Okay.
Even if it does not kill it, it could make it redundant. That means the effect, it will not have any effect on the organism that organism is now living on. That parasite is living on. But that one is totally ruled out from COVID-19 because COVID-19 is a non-living thing.
Okay.
It's a non-living thing. It does not have cell.
Is it not still possible that this active ingredient
Yes.
can still carry out this function? After all, when you have two chemicals coming together, a reaction will take place.
No, I don't like that kind of mathematics. It is clear. We were told the symptoms of COVID-19 on the body. And you are now seeing vaccines replicating those symptoms. So what does it mean? Which means what we are seeing now as vaccines is the COVID-19 virus. And I said it will come.
Let me just, for the sake of, for the benefit of our viewers, aluminum hydroxide side effects, you can Google it yourself, even though there are those who feel that Google may not just be the ultimate in terms of substantiating information because of allegations of re-editing of existing information online just to serve certain parochial interests, as it were. But look at this here. Aluminum hydroxide side effects. Get emergency medical help if you have signs of an allergic reaction. Hives, difficult breathing.
Difficult in breathing.
Then swelling of your face, lips, tongue, or throat. Okay? It's a bit difficult to see on the screen, but if you follow the mouse, you definitely will know, you'll be able to see or you can better still, you just go online. It says stop using the medicine and call your doctor at once if you have this. Now, I'm a bit concerned about the structure of this write-up. This write-up is not telling you directly that these are the side effects. It's only advising that in case you have these symptoms, all right, in case you have these symptoms, this is what you should do. But it's not telling you that these are the side effects of aluminum hydroxide. But let me get through.
You know, the Google is a machine.
If you have,
so it gives you what you key in. So key in effect, side effect of aluminum hydroxide on human body.
He said if you have,
then it gives you direct answer.
Severe stomach pain or constipation, loss of appetite, pain when you urinate, muscle weakness, tiredness, extreme drowsiness, or bloody or tarry stools, coughing up blood, or vomit that looks like coffee grounds and stuff like that. Good. Okay, we'll do further more, but I just wanted to react to this, Prof.
Yes.
In basic science, chemistry, for example, you take hydrogen, you take oxygen, a chemical reaction, it gives you water. That's basic.
Yes.
If you say, by your hypothesis, so to speak, that COVID-19 is not a virus, is perhaps a chemical component, a biological component, or a biochemical component, as it were.
Yes.
And then aluminum hydroxide, as part of the active ingredient, like you said, in the vaccine, gets into the body. Don't you think that the aluminum hydroxide has the capacity to trigger the body in such a way that it can tackle whatever it is that COVID-19 is?
Sonny Duke.
It's a question I'm asking.
Yes, you have asked a question. But I will answer your question with another question. What is COVID-19? From the beginning till now,
Yes.
have you seen anything that names it directly what it is? So if you are now sending a heavy metal into the body to tackle an unknown heavy metal, you don't know it. So what gives you the conviction that aluminium or mercury or lead as a heavy metal in a low dosage or high dosage will tackle what you don't know? That is the question. And that is my answer to your question. So tell me, what is COVID-19 as an entity? Chemically, what is it? Biologically, what is it? And the only thing they gave us at the beginning is that it is a virus. And it's a living thing. So now we have agreed and we have concluded on that virus cannot be living thing. So it's a chemical substance. So if we are now pumping a chemical substance into our body, it implies straight that it is now we are getting the COVID-19. That is the COVID-19. The chemical substance you are pumping into the body. And that is why when you now pump it into the body, it brings out the symptoms that we were given at the beginning, that COVID-19, when it enters the body will react. It's simple. Am I clear at all? Because it's a simple analysis. You don't need to go to the lab. When I came, I knocked your door. I visited you. And when I left, you felt funny. Then you went and did analysis. And they said, oh, they discovered heavy metal in your system. And that is strange. It's not supposed to be there. And they start tracing. And you remember that you started having that symptom after I visited you. Then you trace me. And analyzing my blood sample, they now discover a heavy metal, which means I brought it to you.
Okay. Prof, are you saying that one of the biggest challenge or maybe mystery yet to be unraveled as far as the conversations on COVID-19 is concerned is the active ingredient in the virus itself? Is that the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge is that those who prepared the script, because they are just acting script, those who prepared that script have not told us what was in their mind from the beginning, what they had on their table from day one, because they had something on their table. And that thing, they had a reason for developing that thing. They had an objective to achieve. Hence, this was developed. They have not told us what this is. Do you know why? If they tell us what this is, because there are a lot of challenges, people are challenging them, then we will hold them responsible for any person that dies out of usage of this. That is why they will not tell you. But from all the play, it's like watching a home video. If you watch a home video, if you pay attention to it quite well, you can even read the end from the beginning sometimes. Then at the middle, you can even predict what will happen next, even if they are in series. So that was why, as a genetist, I was able to extract their mind. I went in straight into their mind, and I read them, and I came out with my convictions. And it has been unfolding stage after stage. And I told you the last time that when vaccine comes, then we are getting close to the final point. And the final point is already being implemented gradually. How will CDC just come out and say, stop using nose masks after taking the vaccine? Then I also mentioned it that when the vaccine comes, then the virus will come. And vaccine has come, and we are seeing the rate death. And I told you that at the beginning of the drama of COVID-19 saga or pandemic, which I classify, and some other scientists have classified them as plandemic because it was planned, it will come in stages and they will hit themselves back. What I mean by that is that that thing they produce and they have kept secret about it will now come to the open, and we will now correlate what we have as information, and you will now define what COVID-19 is as a virus, which is a chemical substance. And remember, I classified it as a biological weapon. A biological weapon. To reduce population, nothing else. Targeted that population. Do you know what? I like experimenting. I have asked people, and several countries with different strains of that vaccine or different types of the vaccine, go to the lab, test what is the active ingredient. All the vaccines that they will mention will contain heavy metals. Find out.
Why are you so sure about that?
I am very sure of it because I know from the beginning what was coming at the end. Because it was vaccine, and vaccines are meant to achieve depopulation.
If you knew from the beginning what was coming at the end, there's no science in that. You said that a while ago. If you knew from the beginning what was going to come at the end.
Yes.
So what research did you carry out to know
what
this?
What research I carried out was to follow what they gave to us. What they gave to us, and I traced the history back. What has happened before? Is it today they are using aluminium? Hope you know that up to tomorrow there are countries where they don't shoot criminals with bullets. They don't. Hope you know that. What do? They carefully infuse heavy metal, and the person dies on that seat gradually, and it packs up. That's execution. Is it not the same heavy metals we are talking about? How did the person die? Is it COVID-19 that killed the person? America fought Korea War, 1950. And what they used was a virus. So let's infuse them with a virus. And what kind of virus did they use? They used a virus they call coronavirus, the same class of coronavirus that it irritates the skin. And I mentioned it here. I said the purpose for that was that at the time a soldier man is scratching your body, the gun is hanging, you can't fire. So the opponent will seize that opportunity to pump bullets into them. And that was how they were overrun. Read the history, it's still there on the internet. It's clear. And they used a virus. And what was that virus? It's a class of coronavirus. So coronavirus is not a new thing, I've said it. And the only deceptful language they used from the beginning was that coronavirus is a living thing. Okay, if I ask the word question, and let me ask you a question because we are all in it together.
Okay.
What has happened to China?
Where it originated from.
Why has China suddenly vanished from the trend? Nobody is talking about China again.
So you tell us.
I don't know. I am asking people. Do you know why? Because that stage of the script has been completed.
When you say that stage of the script
yes.
has been completed,
yes.
Does that mean China is not suffering from the pangs of COVID-19, or they've been able to manage the situation effectively?
Manage what?
Yes.
They didn't manage anything. They didn't manage anything. I have told you that all those pictures we were seeing, all of them were drama, and they were stage managed. There were no deaths from anything called COVID-19. Because COVID-19 as at then, nobody in this world even knew it. Even up to now, no scientist across the world has been able to identify what COVID-19 is as an entity. I've been saying it too, and people have not answered me. And I will continue to say it until when they finally liberate everybody and say everybody is free, then go. Remember that as at that point, when it comes, I will mention it again if I have the opportunity, to remind you that there are persons who did not take the vaccine and they are still living. So why are they not dead? So that it will remain those who took the vaccine. And what is the percentage of people that have taken the vaccine? And we have seen series of pictures, series of videos of things behind, even the administration of the vaccine. Because it's not everybody that will tell you truth. Who is not scared of death? There's nobody that is not scared of death. So people will not even tell you the truth. Somebody sent me a video from, I think it's Mexico or somewhere. And that video contains a syringe, the mechanism of the syringe. That when you stab, the needle that is supposed to penetrate goes back inside the tube. And you are seeing the content inside. There is something that was dragged in, liquid. Then when they press it to exhaust that thing, the needle goes back inside the tube and the fluid flows back inside the channel. And when you release it, it comes back. And I remember I mentioned it on the first day that with COVID-19 virus marketing, there is more to the eyes can see. And we are seeing the revelations and we are seeing different things coming up. We are seeing them gradually. That syringe, a company produced it. Hope you understand that. That a company produced that syringe that is different from the normal syringe. That when you jab, it goes back. I wish I have the opportunity, I would have sent it and let them put it on the screen. And that thing has a producer. If you ask that producer, why did you produce it now? Era of virus or pandemic scare. Why did you produce such syringe? They are made for purpose. Because there are persons who will be shown on screen in order to lure other persons to take vaccines. Hope you know that. There is not everybody that you see on the screen that are being jabbed, that are there being jabbed. It's far from it. Far from it. So there are different components of things and mechanisms that they put in order to lure people to take this thing in. And when you take it in, then the effect will come much later. Do you know why the effect will come much later? Let me even ask you a question before I tell you the effect, why the effect will come much later. Hope there was concentration on nursery because it goes through the breathing tracts. Now the vaccine that is coming is being injected intramuscular. Is it not?
Yeah.
And when you now give me intramuscular, then you now open my nose. Is it not? The question in this, I'm a researcher, the question I will ask you, if you are a research student and you are presenting such a research analysis to me, is this. From the beginning, you told me to guide my nose. And what you are giving me to protect me, you have put it here. It's inside my muzzle. Then remember that when this thing enters, there is a sensitive organ that it can drop into, and which is the lungs.
Yeah.
And it will finish it before whatever you have sent into the body will be signaled. Because the cells around that forms the lungs are weaker than that. They are not as strong as the one
in the muscles.
That is why they even had to use a needle. So that you put it in. Do you know why they put it in far? Because it must bypass the subcutaneous layer under the skin. Okay. Because that's a protective layer. Because it will fight anything that is coming as germ. If they had dropped it close, let them try it and punch it into that subcutaneous layer and see whether it will go. It won't go because the cells will encase it. Because they will identify that virus. And what is that virus? Like we have been told from Sinovac, is aluminium. So the cells will stop it and it will be there. And they will encase it. Then form what we call pus around it so that it doesn't enter the body. Okay. So the body has system of the defense mechanism. So what has happened to all those things they have told us about use of nose mask continuously? You know, even in Nigeria here, we have even been told that even when you take the vaccine, it does not completely protect you. I listen every day. Yeah. It does not completely protect you.
So what do you make of this wave of lockdown, so to speak?
Wave of lockdown? I thought I mentioned it that it's a part of recommendation or drug or tactics to create inconveniences so that people will be forced to accept what they under normal condition will not accept.
But it's meant to protect.
Meant to protect what?
Prevent COVID-19.
Protect what? Lockdown.
To avoid gathering, to avoid all of these things.
Lockdown.
Yes.
What did lockdown protect? What did lockdown protect? Something that they told us that was airborne. So at the time you were inside your room, did you not receive air? Was there no air movement in your house? Sonny do. Let's be practical about it. Was there no air movement inside the house? Then all of a sudden they say, okay, fine, it's over. Now it's coming back again in the night. Is it not? So that means that virus has mutated because they use the word mutation a lot. It has changed format.
Yeah, that's why you have South Africa variant.
Yes,
UK
you have South Africa variant.
Yes.
Do you know what is the
new variant?
Do you know the interpretation of that?
No.
They can't dodge me. Those variants they are talking about is the different heavy metals that are inside the thing that is causing the health condition.
There's no proof to this. That
do you know how we will prove it?
Yes.
Get me samples of all the vaccines that have been produced. Do you understand? Put them on the table. Bring a biochemist, bring a chemist, let them analyze it. They will bring out all the active ingredients. Put the active ingredient inside the human body.
But there could be other heavy metals that are adjuvants, as it were, apart from aluminium.
Yes,
Yes.
there is
I mean, the
mercury.
guy that you
There is
spoke
mercury,
to-
there is lead.
Yes.
Yes.
It's possible.
That is why you have different ones, different vaccines, and different reactions.
Okay.
And when you sum all together,
Yes.
and that is why I like that guy's statement, and I wish and I pray that he gets through with it. If they can allow one person use different vaccines together, when one person now use all the vaccines together, then you see the complete symptoms of COVID-19. I'm a researcher. You will now see the complete symptoms of COVID-19.
If we take your analysis to be factual, it means that you probably will have aluminium in your system. You have mercury.
You have mercury, you have lead.
You have arsenic.
Good.
You have cadmium.
Good.
You have all the others. in your
Fine.
system.
So when you now gather all the symptoms, the side effect of those heavy metals together, you will get 100% symptoms of COVID-19. Then I will now ask you,
Yes.
what is COVID-19? And I know you will tell me it's a heavy metal because all the symptoms
are now manifested in this individual.
Simple.
Prof,
That's
thank you for the insights that you brought to bear on our conversations today on concerns about the active ingredient in COVID-19 vaccine. That seems to be the talk of the day. Conversations like this will continue. Of course, the world is such a knowledgeable world today by virtue of the presence of internet. So which means anybody can actually go in there, Google this information, and then find out what's up. Interestingly, some of them that are yet to be edited can actually give you the information the way they are.
Yeah.
But some that have been edited, you definitely will find it difficult to, make sense of them. I looked at the side effects of aluminum hydroxide, for example. Google didn't say expressly, these are the side effects, okay? It's saying, in case you have these symptoms, call your medical doctor.
No.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
No, I don't agree.
Yes.
I don't agree. Google search is a machine. It's what you put in that it gives to you.
Okay, let me show you.
Put in side effect
Yes, let me
of aluminum hydroxide in human body.
Let me show you this. Let me show you this now. Let me try and get there as quick as possible. Okay. Now, if you look at this here, what do you have here? I just Googled side effects of aluminum hydroxide in humans. It said aluminum hydroxide side effects: stomach, severe stomach pain or constipation, loss of appetite, pain when you urinate, muscle weakness, tiredness, extreme drowsiness. All right. Now, if you click on this, Prof, are you seeing it?
Yes.
If you click on this, see what comes out.
Yes.
It tells you aluminum hydroxide side effects. Get emergency medical help if you have signs of allergic reactions, difficulty in breathing, swelling. It's not saying that these are this. It's telling you in case you have this is what you should do. I expect to say, because in science you are told these are the symptoms, these are the signs. But here he's saying get emergency help if you have all of this.
Wait.
He says stop using the medicine
Yes.
and call your doctor at once if you have this.
Good. Those comments
Yes.
is under a subheading. And what's the subheading?
Aluminum hydroxide side effects. What I'm saying is that as good as the side effects,
Yes,
the subheading
yes,
is,
yes.
but the construction is deceptive.
It's not
It's
deceptive.
deceptive.
It's not.
It
It's
is.
not. If you say side effect of something, there are positive side effects.
Yes.
There are negative side effects.
Yes.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
But when you weigh this negative side effects of heavy metals, the way they have been used in the past,
Yes.
that we know,
Yes.
it just towards stopping that breath, which is death, when you use excessively heavy metal. So, and that is why there is caution there that when you observe any of those symptoms,
Yes.
and that is why people that went and took the vaccine and started having reactions
Yes.
went back and complained.
Yes.
Is it not?
Yes.
Why did they go back to complain? What makes them to go back to complain? Is it not what they have taken that is giving them the
Yes.
this? And that is why the word is there. Effect.
Okay. All right.
Side
now,
effects.
Now we're talking about there's a talk about second jab.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
There's even talks about, well, maybe after about a year
Yes.
it expires, you have to renew it.
Yes. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something people should know.
Quickly, in 30
and be
seconds.
very careful about it.
Yes.
That heavy metals does not absorb, it doesn't get absorbed into the body. It doesn't.
Okay.
So as you are putting it and you are adding more, you are increasing the weightage.
It's accumulating.
It's accumulating.
Yeah.
Then the effect will change.
Okay.
And will increase.
Thank
and
you,
that
Prof.
will come.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you for the views expressed. Some of these things are verifiable. Go online, check them yourself so you can have more information about it. It's still TMI, excuse me. Still TMI Monday. We'll take a short break. We'll be back to call it a wrap on TMI Monday. Don't go away. Stay with us.